And we are live with Musty Wargamers Season 5, Episode 12.
Howdy ho, everybody.
Hello, Rusty. How are you?
I'm getting by.
Awesome. Well, it shows we have 3 people waiting. It looks like Brad has joined us. Hey, Brad, thanks for joining in. Lord Drac. Yeah, let's see here. Oh, it says we got 3 up in this in the picture here as well. So we will see who the lurkers are, possibly. Maybe just grabbing a musty drink while joining us.
Yeah. No.
So, wow, I said that. Now there's 1. It's funny how it flashes.
They were like,
now it's 0. I don't think it's completely accurate. It bumps all over the place. So, how you doing, Rusty?
Oh, not too bad. It's like I haven't gotten any gaming in this last week with everything going on around here. Just nobody had any time to do stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I did get a little bit of work done over the weekend, and last 2 days I started working on my project again, slowly working on stuff. Just running around doing stuff. It's like we had somebody that we knew had passed away, which is no surprise. He was 95, so we had yesterday was a funeral, and then day before that was other things. And my wife, one of her students got ran over by a car, hitting
oh my gosh.
So
wow.
They had a visitation for that. So it's like, so you're just kind of running around doing stuff, real life stuff that needs to be done. So.
Yes. Yeah.
Hobbies have to take a back seat, but I've been working on my, if you're on the Musty Wargamers page and you watched my video yesterday announcing the show, you've probably seen my 3 amigos here. Show them here. Let's see.
Yes.
Let's get some light over here.
Ushabti.
My Ushabti Warriors. There you go. A little bit more work done on this guy. I did some on him today. It's like I wish this camera was a little bit better. The lighting is kind of sucks. But if I needed light coming down.
It looks pretty good.
Yeah. Then we got this guy. Is like in the video yesterday, you seen his face was not painted yet. I did that today, and I started picking up some details on more details, filling in like gems and stuff that are on it.
Right.
And I got this guy. He's got his tabard done. Basically, I'm just gonna go look at these guys tonight and see what else needs to be picked out for details. And then I'm going to, I just realized that there's a gem on this guy's sword. Just noticed it just now. So things that need to work on to finish them out. And then I'm going to put a little bit of flocking and grass stuff effects on their base. And that will be it. Then I'm going to start on these, put a base coat on these Battletech miniatures. Then I'll probably start working on these Civil War, and I got these vehicles too. So I got a little bit of everything to work on.
Nice.
My drink of the night is Doers.
It's going to take you. We have to talk about Battletech a lot to get through that.
Well, this was completely full 20 minutes ago. It won't take too long, right? All right, heck on. Yeah, cool. It's I had my other container of scotch that was almost empty, which is my 750 milliliter one, and I have this 1.75 here. And I was like, I need a little bit of fill that thing up, because there wouldn't have been enough to get through the night, because this is what I consider Doers is kind of on the cheap end of the drinking. And so I was like, I'm gonna go fill that thing up. And
you know they make Doers actually makes within their brand, they make one called Stronach. We've talked about it, right?
Yeah.
And I like that one. Actually, it's what got me into drinking scotch. I'm not going to say it's the best scotch I've drank, but it was the scotch that convinced me I should consider, drinking scotch. Like, I liked it.
Yeah.
And it's actually made by dealers. So it looks like we've had a couple of people join us. We've got Nick joined us. Hello, Nick. Thanks for joining in. Very silent mouse. And we've got Dan Booman, otherwise known as Dan Booman. And so, thank you, gentlemen, for
AK Dan.
Dan, AK Dan. All right.
Yeah. So when I was filling up my other container, which I had planned on bringing down, I filled it up to the rim, and then my funnel I was using still had scotch in it. I was like, uh-oh.
Cannot waste it.
So I like slowly holding it, trying to get another glass down to fill it up, and I lifted up the funnel, and scotch went all over the counter. And so I was like, all right, had to clean that up. And then so I decided just bring down the big container tonight.
You didn't.
We're going to talk about it.
You didn't light it on fire accidentally, and you're going to like. Ah!
Oh, what's that sound?
Flames on the table.
Burning down the house. Our house. On the corner of the street.
You're doing an 80s mashup.
Yes.
Well, I think it'll be easier for me to start with my drink. And it is going to be a little boring.
Sounds
tonight,
like a Guinness.
It is a Guinness. It's a Guinness with the widget in there. And so, yes, I'm having a Guinness and talk a little bit about the painting stuff. But while I talk about that, you'd said that you weren't doing as much gaming. I haven't been gaming as much the last couple of weeks. One of my gaming buddies that I typically game with has been sick recently, or has had family sick. A bit of combination of both over the last bit. And so he's needed some distance. And but I think it's been since the last show. I did go to the Calgary Expo, which is sort of like a Comic-Con, basically, since the last show. And I've never been to one before. And so my daughter wanted to go, and I hadn't really thought about going. But then I just said, well, hell, let's just go. And I really enjoyed it. And one of the things, I've never really been one to like try to like get autographs and like meet celebrities and things. But I just kind of was like, hell, like, let's just, sorry for all the hell like tonight, but I just was like, hey, I know I didn't offend you, Rusty. Hey, why not just do it and go and try to get an autograph from somebody, look something, just interesting to do, like just to meet somebody that I would want to meet or whatever. And Carl Weathers was there. He was one of my choices. So Apollo from Rocky, and I grew up, at a time where, like I was a little kid, I loved the Rocky movies from the late 70s and, classic underdog story like Rocky 1, Rocky 2. And so getting sort of Apollo Creed's autograph was just very cool for me, and just to say hello to him. And he's now he's done lots of other things. And I know his big thing now is with The Mandalorian, the Star Wars stuff, which, by the way, I've never watched really. I've watched a couple episodes. I've not really watched Mandalorian, but yeah. So that was actually really fun. As we're talking here, Brad says he worked the Calgary Comic Expo, and so I did not see you there, Brad, because I do know Brad in real life, and so if I would have known that, maybe I would have seen you. But I went there with my daughter, and it was the first time. It was a lot of fun. I actually really enjoyed it, and I was able to get some things besides the autograph that I thought were worthwhile. Like I collect sort of inexpensive 8x10 press photos from when they used to give out press photos for movies. They're black and white mostly, some are color, but they're not expensive normally, unless you try to get one now from like a really popular movie. Star Wars being one of them. And I was able to get a couple of Star Wars ones much below the price that they go for. So you're talking like 25 versus like $75, you know. And so I got a couple of Star Wars 8x10s to be able to put. I have a whole series of 8x10s in frames on my wall in the area that I watch movies that I like. And I've never been able to clinch a Star Wars one that I wanted for the price that I wanted it. And so that was very cool. And yeah, so loved it. Never did that before, and I think I will go again in the future. I think that was fun.
Say someplace in my collection of stuff in one of my boxes, I got a Empire Strikes Back showing when Luke and Vader were going at it.
Mm-hmm.
It's signed by Mark Hamill. So
that's awesome.
Someplace in my collection of boxes. So.
Very cool.
Along
yeah, no, that's really good.
All my Starlog magazines.
Mm-hmm. Nice. Well, I'm going to show real quick just kind of what I'm going to work on tonight and what I've been up to. Let's see here. So I have to not... Why does it feel like all of a sudden I don't know how to operate this anymore? All right, I will have to focus this here before I... There we go. It's a manual focus. So
focus, Jonathan.
So I'll show this. I showed this on my video. Since the video, I've actually used some epoxy sculpt, and I'm actually just going to show this in the dark here.
It's an ent.
Yeah, sure. Wire ent, but I've used some epoxy sculpted some rocks. And so I have the roots like going through the epoxy sculpt in the ground. So I'm really happy with that. Yeah, you know, a lot of people do this a lot of different ways. But, you know, this is my first try at a tree, and I think it's with just wire. I think it makes for a nice realistic looking tree. It'll be covered with stuff to create bark, you know, essentially.
Yeah.
I'm going to make two more smaller ones as well. And so I've been working on that. Been working on Quicksilver and Scarlet Witch. So kind of happy with the way that's progressing. I don't know that I'm going to paint much of them tonight because I'm at the point where I need to work on their skin and start working on some of the details, and I don't want to mess up and get too distracted like in a paint and chat. But I am going to work and get the first base coat, attempt to get the first base coat. I don't see why I shouldn't be able to on these Chaos Trolls. And so these are sort of metal GW Chaos Trolls. And so I'll be painting them like the artwork from the original GW artwork, which is basically like a really dark blue with like white on the underbelly and then some red accents where flesh is torn and on their spikes and things. And so we'll be working on that. And I might even just start cutting up wire and putting together another little tree. So it just depends on kind of what I end up having time for. Yeah, where the flow goes. So that is that. Let me get my mug off here in full zoom mode. You want to just, I'm just going to run through the comments real quick.
We got two.
So we've got those Egyptian thingies are bad arse. So that's your Ushab tees. Yeah. And then we've got Brad says, I worked the Calgary Comic Expo and I was working the evening shift, 3:30 to 11:30. I was working around the area. They did autographs. Very cool. I was not there at that time. However, having said that, I was there probably, I might have still been there at 3:30. I'm not sure. I might not have. I was there from like 10 when they opened for 5 hours. So I actually was pretty close to leaving around that time. I definitely wasn't in the autograph area because that's where I started. I was first in line for Apollo's autograph. I made sure I was there first because I was told that I should probably do that.
So you were the opposite of the Dio song, Last in Line.
I guess so. There we go. The Dio song. And then Brad says the tree's looking good. Thank you very much. Yeah, I'm kind of happy with it. I didn't know what to expect doing it. It took a little time, but to get that wire armature essentially, done. But it wasn't too bad actually. All right. So let's see where do we go from here. Oh, one thing I didn't mention when showing this stuff, some of you might notice that I had a wet palette on the table. I started using the Army Painter wet palette. You might have recognized it. It comes like this. This is the top, and then there's a bottom middle piece that sits in the tray over your stuff where you can put brushes. And then you have your wet palette and sort of band. I've never been one to really use a wet palette. I tried to make my own. I know you can make your own with a sponge and a dish and wax paper and things. And I've never been a big fan in the past, but for whatever reason, 10 years later, trying it again, I'm kind of enjoying it, using it. I like how it keeps my paints a little bit thin, keeps them around a little longer, particularly when I mix paints that are of a certain color that I need to continue with. It was kind of good.
Yeah, it's like if you had certain paints that you want to mix up on, like I do, mix them on my paper right here, and they tend to dry out faster if they don't have any moisture around them.
Mm-hmm.
So you got to keep mixing them up.
Yes, I agree. So, I picked up a movie that I hadn't seen since the early 80s. And it's been a while since I've been looking for it because it's kind of not considered one of his best movies, but it's so rare, but I liked it as a kid. And it's Chevy Chase's Modern Problems.
Oh, yeah.
Do you remember that?
Yeah.
Okay.
I've seen it. I think I seen that one in the theater.
Okay. It had Nell Carter, and it had like a number of people. It had the actor that played the bad guy in 9 to 5. Everybody knows him from 9 to 5. He's always played like a comedic bad guy. But it was actually kind of funny. It actually really took me back a little bit. For a while there, it was like over $80 or something. Like it was just rare, and I couldn't. I was refusing to pay for that. But then I left it in my Amazon list forever, and I finally came down to like $20 Canadian, which is like $16 US or something. And I got it. I was like, this is now or never.
Yeah, there are times when you see something in the cart that is like ungodly low. It's like a week ago, I had some resin in there for the igloo resin, or elegoo, I think it's called actually. But it was normally it's like $32 for 100 grams, I think it is. And they had it on. It was a flash sale. It was like $18 for 1,000 grams.
Oh, okay. Yep, that's pretty good.
And I was like, oh, I should buy that because I know Mel's got his printers. Because eventually I'll probably have him print me some stuff off, so it would behoove me to buy it. And
yeah, just give him the resin.
Yeah, so he could use it when he needs to. But I was like, I didn't think about it, and then I was like, oh yeah, I need to go get that resin, and went back, and it was $32 already. So
oh gosh,
I could have.
Well, yeah, 32. I see things Canadian wise, so if it's 32, then it's probably like 42 or something here, like actually. And with that, that's pretty normal. That's not like that's like a normal price.
Yeah. So at that price, I could have gotten like 3 containers for the price of one. Almost about 2 containers for the price of one.
Right.
And I kind of kicked myself for doing it.
Yeah, well, that's happened to me a lot. Like you wouldn't be the only person. Like that happened to me with razors too. Like how we both kind of like to collect the old style razors like the double-edged razors and trying different ones and stuff. Yeah. For the longest time, there was a Merkur adjustable in Amazon for a really good price, and I ended up not getting it when I should have.
Now it's like everything's up in price.
Yeah, well, you're talking, it's up 33% of what it was. And it's like, no, I don't think so.
Well, they had during this last week, they had a flash sale on those Elegoo's also, the Saturns in the Saturn.
Oh, yeah.
S.
Yeah.
I could have picked one up. They had it's like $425.
Mm-hmm. That's really good.
Yeah, it's like normally it's $550, I think it was.
Yeah.
And they had a flash sale going on. I was like, I almost pulled the trigger just to save $100, but
I actually was ordering some stuff for work today because I oftentimes will go in and purchase stuff on Amazon's for the business. And I actually got something that I'd never noticed before. They gave me a lightning deal. They said, if you get this within the next 14 minutes, you get, they gave me like 20% off. I mean, like my order was like pretty significant. I don't know if that's a flash sale.
There's a lightning deal, then there's flash sales. Flash sale goes on for like 6 hours. A lightning deal is like you said, you got 15 minutes to make your decision and buy it.
Yeah, it's crazy.
And the worst time to have those lightning deals is at 2-3 a.m. when
you drinking your scotch?
Yeah.
When you're weakened.
Oh, I failed my saving throw.
I have done that as well.
Speaking of scotch, I must have some scotch. Oh, I almost really thought about it was the other night was buying the Deadpool movies.
Okay.
They have extended edition versions.
Mm-hmm.
And they were having a sale going on Amazon. It was like, oh, they could have got 2 of them for like $28 or something like that. Extended editions.
I've been so I did purchase the Dune movie, like we were chatting about. I think even on the last show we were chatting about it. But and so I do buy new things at times. Like I actually bought. There was a really great deal at Walmart for all 3 Spider-Man movies, the Tom Holland ones, for like the price of one Blu-ray. Like, it was just really good. And I didn't have any of them. And I do collect most of the Marvel if I can. It's actually kind of hard too. I don't have all of them, like, because there's so many of them now. But I've been on a kick more. I've been trying to get stuff that I want that you almost can't get anymore because it's out of print, and really physical media is becoming harder and harder to get for stuff that's older and out of print because now everybody streams everything.
Yeah, the actual physical copy stuff is not as popular.
Yeah, and it's not the same thing as Old Hammer, but I kind of almost have like a bit of an Old Hammer approach to buying music and DVDs lately, and I'm trying to get things that I want from my past that I feel like I'm not going to be able to get that much longer because this stuff's disappearing and they're not replacing it.
Yeah, I know what you mean. But like the music here recently, Rush has been putting out these box sets.
Uh-huh.
They'll have a special edition box for every one of their albums come out.
Oh, nice.
And it has all kinds of extra stuff in it. And if you spend a lot of money, you can get like used to be able to get the autographed versions and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But I was like, never pulled the trigger on those things. And now that Neil Peart's gone, and like, man, it's like Rush was one of my favorites.
Oh, you like the Canadian music?
Oh yeah, I love Rush.
Just kidding.
Hey,
you like the Canadian music?
Like Take Off, eh?
I like Rush. I don't put them up there with my favorites, but I do really enjoy them. I like I probably oversimplify. I'm not necessarily a big fan of like their very first stuff when they very first came out.
Oh yeah.
But I do like moving pictures, you know, and I do like their later stuff in the 80s. Like, so later is funny, I call it later in the 80s. But like I like, you know, Subdivisions and like all of that kind of that time period of their stuff. They're hugely talented.
Yeah, it's seen them in, was it 82? I think it was.
Oh wow.
Yeah. I did a lot of concerts in high school and afterwards. If there was a concert that hit in the 80s anywhere nearby, I usually went to it. It's like seeing, I always listen to like on the radio and it's like, oh, I wish I could have ever seen like Queen in concert. It would have been great to see Queen. And I was like, well, I've seen Queen back in the day.
Well, that time that you're talking about was like the beginnings of the late 70s and then into the early 80s. It's like, wasn't that like, that was the beginnings of the super concert, like Kiss and Queen and like a lot of those bands. That's when they first started having really big rock concerts. Like, that's my understanding.
I seen, what the heck was it? It was a auditorium. It wasn't a, you know, they started then next time after they came back to Iowa.
Looks like we got Bill Bouchon in the house just saying hello.
Hey, Bill. They started doing their arenas since they were so big in name. It started to hit doing nothing but arenas, and the price started going up on them.
Yeah.
But what I considered high in price was like a $20, $30 ticket.
Yeah, but back then, $20, $30 meant something different.
Yeah, it was.
But I know what you're saying. Yeah.
It'd be equivalent of about $60, $75 now. But
yeah.
With inflation over the years. Yeah, my wife and I, our first date that we went on, I took her to a Whitesnake concert.
Yeah, you told me that. I remember you saying that.
Yeah.
Now, did one of them pass away recently from Whitesnake? Not Roger Daltrey, but or was it his wife from the videos that passed away?
I
heard something.
Yeah, the girl that was, I think, that did the videos, the actress that did it, I think she passed away.
And she was his real wife for a while there, I thought, maybe.
I think so.
Yeah.
Well, his early albums, David Coverdale.
Oh, why did I say Roger Daltrey? That's the Who. I think I'm just...
Yeah.
I love the Who, too. I'm not sure how I got that confused.
And they were getting a divorce, and it was like Crying in the Rain. He wrote that song, Crying in the Rain, when he was going through their divorce.
So let me guess, you went to those concerts for the secondary smoke?
Well, there was a bit of that. The worst concert I ever had that had secondary smoke was really bad was like ZZ Top.
Uh-huh.
Let me tell you, these guys, the people in the crowd there, they were a little rough. Made you just like look around, like, am I safe?
Sorry, I have a bit of an allergy thing going on now. It's not COVID, not that you're going to catch it. I feel fine, but it's itching my lung.
It's like, can't be pollen, so.
Up here, it's actually not pollen right now. It's
dust.
They're saying ragweed or something like that, or they're saying something like that. It was something they were saying was high mold or something. I don't know. I'm trying to think what it was. My wife told me because we were talking about it. they were saying how in the news there was one particular thing that was high at the moment.
That's one thing I'm lucky enough. I don't have an allergy of anything. But
I get a little bit of what I would call hay fever, seasonal, but not really bad, but occasionally I do. Apparently whatever it is right now is what's bothering me. But
yeah, the one thing that bothers me is I got like a upper sinus infection that kicked in about 20 years ago, and it just never went away.
Right here on the Musty Wargamers, not only do we talk about old man drinks, but old man illnesses. My allergy, cough, and your sinus infection.
Yeah, 20 years ago, I was in my 30s. I was an old man back then.
I'm liking the way this is coming out. I'm thinking that I'm going to throw a wash on this to make it a little darker. Because I mixed together a Prussian blue and a different brand, Game Color Ultramarine Blue. And it's come out kind of like that color. It's actually not bad for base layer.
Then you're going to put a wash over it?
I am. I'm going to put a wash over it to darken it down a bit before I start like highlighting it out.
Yeah.
Maybe like an indigo wash, like something dark but watery.
Yeah, so it gets in there and then come back over with the original color and then figure out what to go.
Yeah. I think so. And since I'm using a wet palette, I can probably get back to this original color pretty easily.
No, looks like we have a couple. See, Bill said, "I love my samurai Ashiraru. You paint." Oh, you painted. Okay, the ones that you painted.
Thanks very much, Bill. I did think of you on that project because you do a lot more Japanese gaming than I do. You know a lot more about the period than I do. But I am really enjoying it. I did show earlier. You might have seen, maybe you saw it on the same video. I'm not sure, but I'm working on some wire trees, kind of like individual trees for my Japanese terrain. This is going to have either both red and cherry blossom, other ones that are cherry blossom, and that is for that game too. I know you're quite big into making terrain.
I have a bunch of cherry blossom seeds that I need to. Right now they're stratifying in the refrigerator.
You're gonna have cherry blossom trees in your yard?
Yeah, I plan on planting a few of them, and then I'll make some into bonsai.
Sweet.
Just depends on how many actually get to grow. They say they have a low percentage of germination, but if you can get 5, I think I got 60 seeds. So if I even get 5 out of it, that'd be on the sweet end of the deal there.
That's awesome.
So I can get a few. I got room for some cherry trees outside my sidewalk, because I just cut down a couple trees this last fall. It used to be ash trees in there, and the emerald ash borer basically killed them. So I got space for new trees.
Pretty cool.
We just watched Tuesday night 47 Ronin.
Oh, the one we talked about with Keanu Reeves?
Yes.
Yeah. So what did you think?
Oh, I've seen it like 3 times before.
Oh, so you have seen. I didn't realize that.
Yeah, it's like I liked the movie. And my wife, we started watching it. My wife was like, "Have we seen this movie before?" Because she doesn't like watching movies a second time. I said, "Yes, we have."
Oh, you didn't go, no, I don't no idea what you're talking about. I enjoyed it kind of as someone that never doesn't know the original 47 Ronin tale, which is like a really popular Japanese, very, very popular Japanese mythology tale or actually event, I think, because I think it's all based in reality.
Yeah.
I know that it got a lot of bad press, the movie. But to me, I just sort of looked at it for what it was and just at face value, and I enjoyed it.
Yeah, I looked at it as a different take on reality. Is just look at it as the same story set in a different dimension.
Oh, okay.
That's how I looked at the movie.
Like a multiverse.
Yeah.
Rusty's multiverse.
Most definitely.
Of movies. I think, yeah, I thought it was cool. It kept my attention.
It definitely tripped a few triggers along the line. It's like you think of if you ever played like a lot of D&D type of thing, and it's like, oh, she's a select. The very first time I was watching the very first time I ever watched the movie, and I was like, oh, she's a celestial dragon.
I do actually think of the AD&D expansion Oriental Adventures, like when I watched it a bit.
Yes. If you had that book.
I did. We played Oriental Adventures campaign. I did enjoy it. It was cool because there was a lot of stuff I knew nothing about when I was like in grade school, upper end grade school, playing that. I knew nothing about some of the creatures, and I knew what a ninja was and a samurai, but I knew very little about some of the other stuff.
Yeah, we were playing D&D at the time when that came out, and we're like, oh, that's got to be used. Add it to the mix. That's not going to work. Nope. Too green.
We've got some other comments that come through. I know you read some off. I think Bill's talking about when we were talking about being curmudgeons on the Musty Wargamers. Get off my lawn. 3D Alien Worlds makes the best STLs for Japanese buildings. I'll have to look into that. I did. I don't know if you heard this from a video or maybe from whatever, but I did buy. Foreground has a significant sale because they're going out of business, and I actually have always liked foreground buildings, and I bought some World War II stuff, but I really shied away from the price point over the years, even though I really enjoyed building them for the most part when I built them. I just sort of treated myself because I've been enjoying getting into this whole Test of Honor thing so much that I went out and bought a Japanese village from Foreground, and really excited to put that together. So we'll see. I like the look and the feel of the Foreground buildings. They're really solid, double-walled MDF and painted nicely and stuff. And so it's yeah. I mean, like I didn't see those ones from Alien. I'm not sure that I saw the ones from Alien Worlds, but I did look around initially for some ability to 3D print them. But I've been doing so much 3D printing for my 8mm Titanicus stuff that I kind of thought it might even be a nice break just to have it already painted and just be able to put those together.
It's a lot easier to put them together than it is to try to paint them all.
Yeah. Well, and I kind of thought it'd be nice just to place one foreground order before they go out of business.
I think I said in the last show we had, I wanted to get some foreground stuff for 15 mil and have a 15 mil cityscape.
Well, you could still do it. They're taking orders until June.
Yeah.
So this is the last time, and it's on sale. So. And then Bill says 13 Assassins is a cool movie. I don't know that I've seen that one. Don't think I have. So I'll have to check that out.
Yeah.
Do you know that one, Rusty?
No, I'm not sure. Might have seen it. I've seen so many movies over the years. Sounds familiar, but...
Well, it has the number 13 and Assassins in the name.
13th Warrior.
Mm-hmm. Friday the 13th.
That one, too. When did that movie come out? 13 Assassins.
Bill, when you do your samurai, do you do them like kind of after a particular clan, or I'm not sure if you do the same time period that I was doing, which is the Sengoku period, it's called. I don't hold me to that because I'm new to the genre, but I think it's the warring clans period that I'm doing. It's fairly popular in wargaming. But do you kind of go generic and paint them up however you want, or do you tend to do them like kind of historical?
We got some comments pop in.
So Bill says 2010. I'm assuming that's the movie.
Yeah.
And then Brad says 2010. And then Dan says, have you received your foregone order, Palmer? I heard people complaining they were not getting their stuff and not much communication when they asked about it. Well, this is the thing, is they mention that, well, overall, foregone will oftentimes make their orders to deliver. They've been getting ridiculous amounts and showing pictures on Facebook of interest. And they basically said, like, they put out a statement saying we can't really respond to every email. Like, we're just kind of responding up front that we will get to everyone. They are placing order numbers on Facebook of the ones they've sent out, like long lists of order numbers and batches of orders that are going out. And so I did, before I saw that Facebook post, I did comment to them and I got an automated message from them. They did say that we'll absolutely, send every order out, that's been asked for, like up until this point, point in time in June. I'm content that they're being transparent enough to put the order numbers they filled on Facebook, like publicly to everyone to see. So you can like look at your order number and see it. Mine has not been fulfilled yet. I was like mildly annoyed just because I want to get it, like just not so much at them, just because I want to get it. But once I saw that they were doing that, like putting it on the Facebook that way, I felt pretty good. I knew buying this that they were going out of business, and I knew that they likely were going to be really busy. So that's kind of that's my position on it, I guess. I'm not getting too upset, but for that reason. And I'm still painting a bit, and although I would love to get them and start working on them, I'm just doing my trees instead right now, and I'll just kind of hang tight. I still have some time. Bill says Takeda clan and Oda clan. So that is my answer. And then looks like you wrote some Japanese below that. Iko Iki, which I don't know a lot of this stuff because I'm sort of new to it, but I'm basically doing the Shimazu clan, but I've kind of cheated a little bit on the symbol on the flag because I don't have transfers, so I just put a green dot on a white background. And I saw other people do that a little bit, but I've been calling it inspired by the Shimazu clan. And even that, I don't know if you agree with this, but I did a little bit of research, and although like their uniforms, like or their armor and their heraldry has changed, over the years and time, I see a lot of people do it quite a bit different, even within the clans, and so I kind of just did my interpretation of it, and I kind of was pretty happy with the product.
The 13 Assassins, who's in that movie? Anybody that I would know? The movie sounds familiar. I'm just drawing a blank at the moment.
I was thinking about picking up Shogun, the original television series, but I kind of watched a little bit on YouTube, and I was like, this is a pricey thing. Like, this is like what I was talking about before. Like, it's pricey to pick that up, and I'm not sure that I'm going to be
Doing
as happy when I'm done with when it's all said and done with spending the money on it. So I didn't. It was kind of something I really liked as a kid at the time, and it was really popular. But I'm not sure that it's going to have staying power.
Yeah, it's like you have fond memories of something, and then after you go back and watch it, and you're like, oh, okay.
And I've had the opposite. Like, when I actually saw Dragon Slayer again, like I'm just pulling this out of just nowhere, but I'll just pick on that one. I loved it. I loved even the special effects, the physical special effects from the time. It totally stood the test of time for me. Very good Disney production.
Yeah, that was a one I remember going to see in the theater because it was cool.
And it was dark too, right?
Yeah.
In a lot of ways. For a Disney film.
Let's see, that came out in, when was that? Was that 81?
It's right around there. Yeah, I don't know the exact year, but it is right around there. I think it might be 81, 82. Yeah. I don't think it's 80.
I think it was about the same time that Excalibur came out.
And Excalibur, I believe, is 81.
Yeah.
I think so. That's sort of my favorite time period for movies, to be honest.
Well, they did interesting effects back then.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of cool thing was that I mentioned it tonight already. It was that Starlog magazine.
Oh yeah.
The old sci-fi magazine.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I heard you mention that.
And you used to be able to. They talked to all the special effects guys that would do the movies, and some of that would be talking about how they would make the effects and.
Yeah, like American Werewolf in London or The Thing. Those are big ones, I think, that are always fun to hear how they made this stuff.
Yeah, American Werewolf in London. I watched that last fall because it was on during build up to Halloween type of thing.
Mm-hmm. That's a rewatcher for me.
Yeah.
I love that movie.
Oh, come on. Just go kill yourself. But I don't want to. Oh, come on. Just do it.
Keep off the moors. Or you made me miss.
The snarling. What was it? Was it the snarling wolf or the pub?
The Slaughtered Lamb.
Slaughtered lamb. There you go.
I love that movie. Watched it too many times. I don't remember everything from it, but I've watched it a lot. I know a lot of references. Man, I am just about done with the paint that I mixed, and I'm just about done with the 3 trolls for the base paint, so I don't have to like necessarily match this color.
More.
I think I will just do fine. I'm waiting on to get those comments just because I just got to get this last bit here. Make sure I didn't miss anything, which I always usually do. Oh, see right below the chin here on this guy. It's going to miss.
And we got 50 comments come in that.
They're all American Werewolf in London references.
Yeah, it's kind of like me as the Highlander movie, the first one.
Mm-hmm.
It's like
in movies that don't stand up the test of time, like with the styrofoam walls. I'm just kidding. That's a great movie. It's definitely a rewatcher, but I don't like the styrofoam walls in the castle.
Yeah, that was somebody in the special effects team really screwed the pooch on that.
All right, what do we got here? Kohi Yakusho. I'm gonna bastardize this, but Kohi Yakusho was one of the actors. Not sure a lot of them are known from 13 Assassins. This is Brad. Dan says, my wife and I bought the Battlestar Galactica complete collection and are really enjoying that right now. Great memories of that. See, that's the thing that's cool is if you get something that you really enjoyed from the past and then you sort of can settle into that and really enjoy it.
The one season of the very first Battlestar Galactica or the reboot?
I've heard people liking both of them, to be honest, but I'm not sure which one you're talking about.
Yeah, I've watched both. I really like the old one because that was during my youth there.
Yeah.
And then when they rebooted it, I liked some of it, but some of it I did not. It's like
I started watching it and I didn't keep up with it. My wife and I started watching the reboot and didn't keep up with it. But I don't know. We could have just got distracted because whenever it's something that like my wife and I both watch, life circumstances get in the way and then just completely stop us from watching it.
Yeah, my biggest problem with the reboot was that there was not enough combat scenes. It was a soap opera, basically. That was my biggest complaint about it.
Looks like we got Curtis in the house. Hello, Curtis.
Hey, he joined us in time for us to actually say hello.
We are doing well. Says, how's everybody? We were chatting Battlestar Galactica. We've been chatting about miniatures and chatting about music and movies and, gosh, musty drinks and, I don't know, Comic-Cons and just about everything. Oriental Adventures, AD&D, expansion.
The quest for the infamous autograph.
Yes. Talking about everything tonight.
There's like, where did I do with my dry brushing?
Dan says, the original 70s series, what we're watching.
Oh, yeah. Dirk Benedict and
I liked it as a kid. I found I don't know why, but I always gravitated towards bad guys in like any fictional thing, and when I was little. Like the first figure I had, because I grew up in the generation, like, with the Star Wars figures, like they came out like when I was, a pretty little kid, and not a pretty little kid, but a little kid. I've never been accused of being pretty. Basically, basically, Darth Vader, first figure. When it came to the Battlestar Galactica that Dan's talking about, the Cylons and the action figures for the Cylons and the Cylon ships, I liked so much better than the good guy ships. Like, because as a kid, I always gravitated towards. I got the TIE fighters before I got the X-wings. Like when I was a kid too. I don't know why. I just
the Cylon Raiders.
Yeah. Now, when I first started watching the reboot, obviously the Cylons were not like the older Cylons, but I was told that they somehow showed them again within the series, the old style. I don't know if
they
were a different type. Were they a different type of Cylon?
The Cylons that you had from the old series were brought back, but they were considered the first gen.
Okay. They were like back. A type of like warrior class that was like different or something. They were first generation robot, kind of like Terminator.
Yeah.
Like, instead of having the robotic skeleton, the newer ones could shapeshift and stuff.
And they also had to bring back the old Vipers because they had a mission where it's like, oh, the old Vipers obviously didn't have the networks on board.
Mm-hmm. Man, I made a mess on my wet palette. I don't know how I did that. I don't know if I was shaking things in front of it, but I got little dark blue dots over all of my stuff. That's okay. I'm just going to have to, after I use this one tonight, I'm going to move to another paper. That's fine.
Shake it up. You got a Cars song going on tonight.
That's a CD vinyl on my list, is to get the original first Cars album.
You want it in vinyl?
One of the two. I collect both. I like CDs because I like to cook when I'm listening to music, and I don't like to flip a record while I'm cooking.
Yeah.
So there's a very practical reason why I still like CDs, but I enjoy vinyl too. But it's just kind of a bit more of a dedicated experience for listening, and I can't be multitasking as much.
Yeah, someplace I have. Well, I know exactly. I know where it's probably at. It's just sitting over there, along with my other vinyl. I got a large collection of vinyl.
Nice. Why does that not surprise me that you have a large collection of something?
Well, it's back in the day before your choice was vinyl or 8-track.
Yeah, and I know which one I choose there.
I have an old 8-track player in a box I could dig out sometime, which is full of 8-tracks.
I was not a big fan. 8-tracks were prior to my time, but I came in on the end of it. My first car came with an 8-track player, and I remember my parents having eight. They're technically 8 tracks, right?
Yeah.
Like, because the way people say them, I always for the longest time thought they were A tracks, like A team,
8 tracks.
But they're 8 tracks. They just sound like, when people say it quickly, 8 tracks. Yeah. But I basically I would take a cassette over an 8-track any day of the week, and I would take a vinyl over an 8-track any day of the week. Cassettes were actually a pretty good invention at the time, despite the fact that they got eaten up like VHS tapes at times. They still were a pretty big step up, I think, But yeah. CDs were like incredible, like when they came out, like to be able to skip songs. Like that was such a big deal.
Go right to the track that you wanted.
Yeah.
Right here is my very first cassette I ever bought.
Led Zeppelin 4.
Yep.
I'm pretty sure I had that one on vinyl, actually. But I think because I had it from my parents.
Yeah, I picked this up at went to the Drake Relays in my 10th grade year, and I had enough to buy a cassette, so I bought a cassette. Otherwise, I was buying either vinyl or 8-tracks.
Yeah.
And it was because of I got a very large collection of Zeppelin. I think I got everything Zeppelin on cassette or album or 8-track. In my very first, here we go. Here we go. The best of Led Zeppelin. I made, recorded them all off. My favorite songs of all Led Zeppelin. I put them on 2 cassettes. So when I was driving around in my 67 Camaro, I could play them anytime I wanted to.
Well, in retrospect, I pretty much bought most of their albums on CD. Like after I had them on other things over the years, but I actually like the song "Remains the Same," the live album.
Yeah,
it's good. So we got some comments going on here. We got a lot of introductions and hello back and forth, so I'm gonna not put those ones up. We got Curtis says, "Hi Dan, how is the Warhammer collection going? Any new models?" And Dan says, "I've been taking a break from Warhammer for a bit, and I'm working on Soviet Stalingrad Army for Bolt Action, having a great time with it." Bill says, "Oh, go ahead, Rusty."
I was going to say I have the assault Marines or assault engineers for the Soviets, so you don't have to collect those, Dan. I got plenty of them. I got platoons of them. Go ahead, continue on.
Unless he's a completionist and he wants his army to have them.
Oh, of course.
Bill says, "When I am cooking, I just say, 'Hey Google, play the Cars.'"
Hey,
got it. Check out this YouTube music station based on the Cars.
God. Oh, can I have you time that? Stop, Google. Google, stop.
Oh, Siri?
Now that is funny. I'm gonna have to rewatch this.
That's one thing I haven't done yet is hooked up my house to anything live like that.
I have that hooked up in the painting room. I got that. I think I was buying a phone and I got that for free. It was at a kiosk where they were like, "Oh, you've earned this, and what do you want to buy this?" I'd never been to the kiosk before. I bought this phone, and I'm like, I'm never coming back, so I might as well just whatever you're giving to me, like money wise, I might as well just spend it on something. So I got one of those little. I don't even want to say the name of it because it's gonna start playing. But I got one of those little pods that's Bluetooth and
like Siri.
Well, it's the version of Siri for Google.
Googly.
And that was really funny. And so, yeah, the thing is that like there's wonderful things with technology, the accessibility and like all of that stuff. But and this could be like a whole nother discussion. Like I know we're just doing paint chat tonight, and I'm getting ready to do the next thing that I'm working on. But I do feel like I'm becoming quite a bit out of touch with the newer generations. I'm Generation X, and I just feel like I don't even know all of the names of the generations that have come after me. But whether it be the humor or whether it be certain things, like I definitely feel when I speak with my daughters, like the idea of having an artist, a favorite artist, a music artist, and not just getting like their songs individually, the hits, and putting it on their phone as a streaming thing, but actually purchasing an album and understanding like the whole album. If you really like the artist and your favorite and you really love their music, like understanding like the whole album and like appreciating and enjoying like other songs that they do, and having that kind of appreciation, it's just something that feels like is disappearing. So the streaming is fine, and I use it too, and it's really convenient, particularly like Bill says when you're cooking or whatever. I could see that being good, but I'm much more about physical media. You know, like to me, it's all about obtaining the CD or the record.
Back in my day, we used to get everything in card copies. That's the way it was, and we liked it.
Yeah, I've if anybody's gonna lose something because they bought it electronically, it's gonna be me. You know, like between switching phones and doing this and that and whatever. I know that to a certain degree, you should be able to with like your Apple ID, you know, maintain purchases that you had and stuff. But I don't know. I don't trust it. And
good case in point, because I been purchasing stuff on my Apple iTunes for years. And then I went to my new computer last year and I installed iTunes on it and signed in. And most of the stuff that I had purchased is no longer there. It's like, where did it all go? I bought all this stuff.
Yeah. And so, I don't know. Like, I like having my wall of CDs and like I like having this stuff. And I know it's a bit of not a minimalist attitude. You know, I know it definitely takes up space and stuff in your life, but I prefer to have it. We have got Chris from Walkabout Games in the house. Hello, Chris. Thanks for joining us.
Howdy-ho.
I think this is Dan referring to one of Curtis' comments. I should get a video up this weekend. I've got my first two 12 count man squads done. I guess that's what he's saying. 12 C-man.
Yeah, for Russians.
Off to a good start. What do we got here? I got a boat in the mail. My seals needed a boat.
Das Boot.
Nice. And Chris says, he got you, Palmer. And he goes, Palmer, it set mine off too. That is hilarious. Bill, do you guys play Gloomhaven? Looks like we got a side discussion about Gloomhaven. I thought about getting Gloomhaven a long time ago.
Yeah. I've looked into getting it myself too.
I actually it looked very comprehensive and it looked good, but I actually just couldn't commit because I just didn't think I'd use it. You know, I was looking at more for something for my family to do, and we were playing a lot of Zombicide, and we still have so much stuff like to play, and so I ended up not doing it. But it looked very cool. I'm currently painting miniatures for Frostgrave, says Bill, and that Gloomhaven is awesome for solo gaming. Curtis says, nice, I'm working on finishing a bunch of 10mm Prussians. Also my Dark Angels for 40K. Very cool. I didn't realize that you like the Chaos Armies, Curtis. Palmer, it is smart having Google. Oh, I almost got me again. In your painting room, you can play podcasts while painting. And I didn't know that. I am... it's funny. I'm very
Alexa
bipolar when it comes to technology. Like I can get completely consumed in certain things, and then completely be ignorant and an idiot about others. And
so is it Alexa?
No. What I have, that's Amazon, I think, isn't it?
I don't know.
Maybe I'm wrong. There's a lot of those things like Siri, Alexa, and the other one.
The Googly?
I was thinking I might put some white glue on my my tree. Yeah, the metal, a coat of metal before I do a coat of the bark for the next thing that I'm going to do here.
Or would priming it first be a better thing? Then put the glue on.
I think the glue, because I actually want to prime it after I've got the bark on. Yeah. The bark is just truly a plaster, glue, and paint mix. And so it's not, and then I'll likely dust it with something, just prime a little bit for the base purposes. But even the paint, glue, and plaster is going to add a bit of almost like its own primer to it too. All right. Looks like we've got Todd in the house. Thanks for joining, Todd. So many games and so little time. You have to make choices sometimes. That is very wise words. I totally agree with that. I played Gloomhaven and we had fun, says Dan. I wasn't in love with it though. And I love your 10mm stuff, Curtis. Got it looks like we've got thanks, Dan. A friend sent me a ton of fantasy 10mm, a bunch of different companies. That's awesome. And Wardrobe, are you getting the new Cold War Commander? Bill says, I have 4 electronic listening devices in different rooms in my house, and it's like having a PA system installed. I
was at my dentist getting my teeth worked on, clean, and they have Siri in that one. And and he said, Siri, play German or no, Scandinavian death metal.
Because he knew you liked that, or
no? He was talking with one of the hygienists, and they were talking about music, and started playing that, and she was like, "What is this stuff?" Must get the demons out.
Rusty was in his element. Actually, usually when I go to the dentist, they have like the television onto a channel that has just like bloopers for animals, like.
Oh.
And yeah, I mean, that's not my favorite thing.
Yeah, typically
I like pets quite a bit. I just
when I go in the morning, because my son and I both go at the same time, and he works nights. So we get there as early as possible. And they usually have those morning show crap stuff on.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, no, that's not my thing either. It's like whatever the show that used to be Kelly Ripa and who the heck some other guy on there. It's like I know who he is, but just like, nope. Not my thing.
For me, kind of at this point now where I don't mind like just complete silence and just waiting.
I personally would rather listen to elevator music than listen to those talk show like things like that.
Well, if we're talking about traditional elevator music, I kind of like traditional elevator music.
Yeah. Oh, we get more comments come rolling in. They're just pouring.
Oh, we have. I'm just doing the paint and chat thing, so now I'm coming back to painting a bit. But I know that we've got a lot of folks that know each other and having fun in the comments, so I do encourage that. I actually bought some of the original. I don't know if I told you this, but when I first got into collecting vinyl again. I actually I bought some of the original Muzak albums they played in like department stores.
Yeah.
From like, well, you know, they go back a ways, but I kind of got a lot of the ones from the 70s. And I think everybody in my house thinks I'm crazy because I like that stuff.
If you're there's always going to be somebody that likes this stuff, or else it wouldn't exist.
Well, the Muzak phenomena, which at one point had an actual president that invested heavily into it, I think it was Eisenhower, has a bit of a backstory in that, and this isn't the reason why I like it, but it just they call them progressions for a reason, because it was based on psychology. They basically wanted people, they wanted to capture people at different points. They wanted to motivate their workers throughout the day to be really productive. And so the music was technically more for the workers than it was for the clients.
Yeah.
And it would start out, you know, at a certain ways, you know, and then it would, you know, at the end of the day, it would really pick up in momentum to try to give people like energy and pick them up and things like that. And so if you read about it, it was all based on psychology at the time. But I just like, they got really good producers to take songs oftentimes that were already popular and just put them to that jazz sort of music. And they were really highly produced albums. And one of them that I have was sealed, which I thought was so cool. And now I didn't keep it sealed. You know, I did actually open it up and everything, but it was literally from like a mall where they just didn't open it, you know, yet, because they had these like, obviously they had these record players that they used to throw these on. But no, but I really enjoy that stuff. Not as my favorite kind of music, but just as something to throw on every once in a while.
Break up in the monotony.
To motivate myself to paint, I listen to the Muzak progressions. That's not totally true, but I should try it. Something has to work.
One way or another.
Read a couple of these just to try to keep up here. Todd says, did I see somewhere on Facebook that Catalyst is making a new Battletech Beginners box set?
They have a new, what do you call it? Alpha Strike box going to be coming out. And then they have some other different boxes. They're changing things up because they got a new Kickstarter coming out this fall. So we'll be seeing more Battletech. They got new mechs.
Curtis, I recommend getting Jaws of the Lion. It's like a primer for Gloomhaven. Never heard of that. Todd says, also, I happened to see a bunch of videos reacting to the live Warhammer live streams today. It appears that Warhammer is releasing a bunch of stuff. ? I am out of the loop because I don't know the answer to that.
Warhammer's got new stuff coming. Well, I know that we talked about it on here where they got squats coming out. But that's going to be part of the new boxes coming or what?
Oh, here we go. I think Todd might be referring to the Muzak stuff here. The government researchers really got into studying the mind and ways of influencing people with sounds, music, and subliminal messaging. It's true. I do believe it that was the premise for it. But as bad as that may sound at a certain level, I actually kind of enjoyed the music. And it gave me the munchies. No. I can't stop eating.
This is good stuff.
Yeah. Gosh, man, I want to paint, but I just can't stop this urge to get some chips. No, and even like, I don't have one, but I was thinking about trying to get one of the old Christmas albums from the mall. That's Muzak too. They were just cool stuff back then. Brings back memories.
Tales from the Mall. Right next to opens up for Tales in the Crypt. Another one of those 80s. I hear my wife moving around upstairs. She was watching one of her shows when I came.
Todd says, seems like a thing from the 50s and 60s. I do believe, I looked into it, and I do believe that Muzak, the company, went even into the 90s, if I remember, maybe even later. They definitely were there in the 70s, and I believe they definitely were there in the 80s. They fell out of favor over time, but I do believe they went a lot longer than people realize. Like any business, they tried to sell their stuff. I mean, they continue to produce stuff as well.
Did you see the trailer for the Weird Al Yankovic movie?
I didn't, but I thought I saw that.
Daniel Radcliffe.
Yeah, that's right. That's what I thought I saw. Yeah. Okay. Does it look good or?
Yeah, I liked Weird Al music. So
the movie looked kind of cool though with the trailer, or no?
Yeah.
No, he had many generations of fans. Has, I should say.
Eat it. I like how he was able to take this music and turn it into something really good.
Yeah. It was kind of like comedy, really.
Yeah. Lost it on Jeopardy. All right. Oh, yeah. Never remember what I was going to do. Like looking at my new Shopty guys here. Gonna do these gems. Which guy had it though? That guy.
Bill says, last week I was in Nogales, Mexico, and went to Woolworths. Instead of the normal store music, they were playing AC/DC in their store. There you go. Good taste.
AC/DC.
That's Woolworths isn't a name I've heard in a while.
Yeah, it's like there's none around here. right. I got all these little scarabs on here. If I paint the scarabs a blue color, or just leave them as gold. Don't know.
Like a turquoise?
Yeah.
That could be cool.
Yeah.
Chris says it's a new Alpha Strike box set for BattleTech.
Yeah.
Alpha Strike.
Yep. That'd be it.
Todd says, okay, thanks, Rusty. That's probably what I saw because they did have the Alpha Strike rules with them.
Okay. Yeah, they I played Alpha Strike a few times, and I guess I always looked at it as when I play BattleTech, I'm going to play BattleTech. But it would be interesting just to buy the box sets to get the miniatures, if you know what I mean. And
if you were so inclined.
Yeah. And then get the what do you call it? Alpha Strike rulebook, and you could play if you wanted to. Right now, there's not much. It's like we bought the other starter boxes for BattleTech here, but mostly just because we wanted the miniatures.
Mm-hmm.
Now we finished the Moon Knight last night.
Okay. And so overall,
Not bad.
without spoilers, was it good?
Yeah, it wasn't bad. Worth watching.
Good as Daredevil?
No, but
Is that because you like Daredevil more or because it was not as good as Daredevil?
it was like 6 episodes, and each episode was only like 30 minutes.
Oh, okay.
So it was like up and done, you know. It's like, the episode's already over, and it just like felt like you started getting good and it was over. And then all 6 episodes are over, and it's like, well, okay. It left me just like, I felt like the story's half said, you know, half told.
Mm-hmm.
That's how I looked at it. Makes you wanting more of a meal than you got. Do I have a turquoise anymore? I thought I did. There we go. Turquoise. A color that doesn't get used very often unless I want to do copper rust effects. Patina.
Todd says, Rusty and Chris, will you buy it? Oh, and then his next comment is Rusty just answered.
He who controls the boxes controls the mini mix.
Todd likes the plastic minis better, and Bill says Moon Knight last episode has an after credits scene.
Yes, it does. The after credit scene, it was like there was like 5 minutes of credits, and then they kicked it off with the after, which was we finally get to meet the guy that we've been wondering what happened.
That sounds like very tempting.
But if you don't have what do you call it, Disney Plus, then
You're out of luck.
yeah.
Yeah, I love Marvel quite a bit, but not enough to pretty much invest solely into Disney Plus for.
Yeah, we got it because it was part of the package that we got. We had Hulu, and my mother-in-law watches sports, so we got ESPN and Hulu, and Disney Plus came with it.
That's cool.
But otherwise, we probably would not have spent the money for it.
Mm-hmm.
We've watched all the Mandalorian shows, which I actually kind of like. My wife likes the Mandalorian.
Yeah, I know it's really popular.
She likes it because of Grogu,
Who's that?
the little green.
That's the like the
Yoda's
actual.
like the name of the character is Grogu. It's like
Not Baby Yoda.
No, he's not. He's from the same race, but
Right. Didn't everybody initially call him Baby Yoda?
not
I
sure.
thought that's what everybody was calling him when it first came out.
Yeah, all the people watching the show, I think, did. But yeah, when you're watching it and you're seeing all the little antics that he does, they made it interesting. This is the way. Then what's it? Hawkeye was not too bad. That was on there. But once again, it was a short season. You know, it's like, oh, it's over. So it started getting interesting, and oh, we're done.
Left you very unsatisfied.
Yes, extremely unsatisfied. Yeah, it kind of leaves you kind of feeling when you're watching a TV series, and the first 2 months, starting in, let's say, October, go through November, and then they break for Thanksgiving, and they'll come back till January kind of feeling.
Mm-hmm.
That's how you feel watching. So.
Bill says Mando is based on a samurai movie series called Lone Wolf and Cub.
Okay. And here we thought it was an original show. Yeah, it's that manga stuff. Do you see any of that being shown at the?
There was a fan zone that we didn't really get time to go into. Like we were kind of, my daughter is into kind of cosplay, and she wanted to get like some swords and some different things. And we said that we would go through the retail area twice, so she could see all the stuff, and then go back to the place she wanted to buy the stuff, that she chose that was the best. And that took a lot of time, particularly once the place started to get really busy. And so we kind of skipped the fans. And we did go, they had an artist alley, which you got to meet, got to see a lot of artists. They were selling their wares, but they also were like comic artists and things. And so we did go into that, but we didn't go into the fan zone.
Yeah, if you go to, let's say, Gen Con, for example, they have theaters that will play that kind of stuff, and then they'll have entire areas set up for people to cosplay and actually fight and all that fun stuff.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of interesting as you go there and you watch the parents for the first time that have no idea they're taking their kids for the first time, and they're walking around looking at like, what the heck is going on here?
Yeah, it is interesting. And it was packed. I mean, really packed. Not when I first went in, but I went in at 10, but by like 11:30, it was really busy. And this is a Sunday I went. And so that's partially why it was probably a little
busy.
Well, a little less busy like when you first go in, because there are people that are going to church and things, or doing stuff, Sunday morning stuff. But
yeah, you go on let's say Gen Con on a Saturday. That's the most busiest day, and it's like just packed like crazy.
Mm-hmm.
There's no way you. Yeah, we had the discussion about it last time we got together to play BattleTech. It was like, are we going to go to Gen Con this year? And we all kind of looked at each other. No. Right. I think this guy's done.
Todd says, very good manga and very long. Lone Wolf and Cub. Oh, and violent.
Violence and bloodshed is very good. Makes it interesting. Oh. Okay. Open the drawer. The drawer of goodies. All right. Do I go with brown tufts or do I go with the green tufts? Desert is probably going to be brown. What say you all? For my bases on here, on these guys.
Do you based on the model and where you think it should be, or do you have a theme of where all your armies are fighting?
Depends. Like some of them, like some of the other miniatures I have for my Tomb Kings have green flocking or gravelly green flocking.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm debating whether to use some of my standard flocking, just kind of put a little bit of glue on it to spread it around the base.
Yeah.
And then just little, like springtime after the monsoon, was a little bit of green popping out, but
Right.
still have the dead grasses hanging out. I think that's why I'm going to go that route.
I think I got this pretty well covered. I'm going to have to
Brown.
cover it again. I did, so I finished that tree. It's good. For tonight, at least. First coat of glue.
Fake blood? What do you mean there's fake blood?
Brad says he thinks you should do brown.
Yeah, I got the brown out. Super glue, where you at? Super glue, I choose you. Oops, a little too much maybe. A few tufts here and there just to add a little bit of vertical on these ground.
I was wondering if Bill has actually made any headway on that huge Saga project that he was entering into. That is, he and his wife were going to be gaming Saga.
Is there a saga to be had with that story? Ah, crap.
Well,
Glued my fingers together.
all right. And Bill says, I painted her Saga army. I'm trying to remember which factions you guys decided to do, because I thought you'd bought at least 3 factions, if I remember correct. Maybe I'm wrong.
When was the last time you did a video, Bill? I don't remember seeing one lately.
There we go. Mel is in the house.
Hey,
Well, maybe see that dude has a house full of RC stuff. Holy cow! It's basically a path house. Lots of laughs.
the soon-to-be printer room. Oh yeah, it's like you were gonna go talk to somebody about. Was it you're selling something or looking to buy something? I couldn't remember.
It's a lot of remote control stuff. Is that what he means by RC? Okay.
Yeah.
Sorry about the injury, Mel. Rusty had told me about that. Sounds like a bummer.
Squished like bug.
Bill says, I've been lazy with videos lately. Well, I am with you there. I'm trying to kind of get back into it slowly, and but I have not been putting as many videos out in the last quite a while. I was hoping to offload a few nitro cars and trucks, but this dude has his own personal store.
Oh, okay.
There you go.
So
It's kind of fun.
yeah, trying to sell something, but
Yeah, the past few weeks have been a pain, literally. Yeah, I bet. There's a guy that I work with actually had a horse fall on him.
oh, ouch.
Yeah, he surprisingly only walked away with a black eye. But it was kind of crazy because he was out in the middle of nowhere, and the people that were with him didn't call an ambulance because they feel like it just would have taken too long to get there. The horse got off of him, like, because you know how I guess horses don't like to fall on their sides, or they want to be up on their feet, so it kind of got up on its own off of him. And then after like 3 days, he went to the hospital because he was having like a vision issue. And then they asked him a question. They asked him questions for his cognition, and he told them it was 2023. And they still just sent him home and didn't do anything. No prescription, no anything.
Wow.
It's crazy. But he says he's feeling fine. And I was like, man, you're like Superman.
That is severely wrong in many different ways.
It's crazy.
Like, I've been kicked off horses before and rolled free of them without them squashing me, but
yeah.
I was had a neighbor kid was with us, and he got kicked in the head by a horse.
See, that is scary. That'll kill you.
He had his from right here on his scalp, right about below his hairline, and it lifted his scalp up. And
Oh my gosh!
It was like watching somebody with a toupee.
Wow.
And just lucky his mother was an actual nurse, so
He was lucky about that.
yeah.
Well, my wife actually, a couple of years ago, I don't know if I told you how my wife broke her hand. Like, she fell and broke her hand, but she went into a hand clinic where they set you up to do hand surgery, like surgery on your hand.
Yeah.
And
orthopedic surgeon.
Yeah, there was a guy that was in this hand clinic, and he tried to trim his hedges, like a big hedge, tall hedge.
Yeah.
By holding a lawnmower over it.
What the?
And he cut all the tips of his fingers off.
Wow.
Can you believe that?
I can believe it. I had a friend.
When I heard that, I shriveled up inside all over. When I heard that, I was like, ooh.
Oh. It's like I had a friend that I went to high school with. She was mowing the lawn and wasn't paying attention, and she pulled the mower back towards her because it was on a kind of slope, and her foot went forward and went under the mower, and it took the top of her foot.
Oh, man.
Yeah. So I can believe stuff, but I can't imagine someone actually trying to lift the mower up to trim their hedge that way.
That is insane. And I don't know if it was two people or one, but one person was there. The tips, all their fingers cut off.
Wow.
Horsing around, says Bill. Being down in the back hills of Kentucky, the mentality is like, quote, if you don't look funny or spurting blood, you ain't needing no ambulance.
That's a truth. Yeah, it's like I tell the story every once in a while on my shaving channel, but where I
shaving channel. Did you want to give that a plug?
Nah, I don't need to.
Excuse me. Okay, go ahead.
But when I was a young lad, we were out sledding because we had a nice real hill, and I was living in Minnesota, was going down the hill, and we just had an ice storm the previous day, so it made everything nice and slick. And it was like young kids, nice and slick. You go to the hill with your toboggans, you know. So you're gonna go out and sled, and next thing you know, it's like we're going down the hill, and we're picking up steam, and we're going past our usual stopping point. And my brother, who's the brakeman, dives off because we had a rope on the back that you know, you put your feet out and you would brake, slow you down. And obviously he probably tried to stop, I guess, and his feet were just sliding on the ice. We just kept going faster and faster.
It's about Rusty shaving his legs and manscaping.
Nope, that ain't happening. But, so we got to the end down there, and I face planted right into a tree. And if anybody ever looks at me, it's like I broke my nose, I cut my lower lip and chin and whole face up, and it's lacerated it. You could see my teeth through underneath my lips. That's how bad it was.
Oh man, that doesn't sound good.
It was a disaster area.
Wow.
And I come walking into the house, and there's blood dripping down everywhere. And it's like, and my mom seen me, and she just started freaking out. She started screaming. And I'm like, well, what's the deal? It's like not being able to see myself, not looking like I was out of a horror movie.
You look like you're like one of the zombies from Werewolf in London. You know, like coming in with flesh hanging off and looking like you're a fresh kill. The Walking Dead.
Exactly. So it was like, oh, we're off to the clinic, sewing back up. So when I'm using my DE razor, I have to watch around the scars.
Yeah, you mentioned that to me. I remember you said that. Either that or I was watching one of your videos, and you mentioned it.
Yeah. All right. Well, you shopped, you're done. I'm gonna have to do a video about them tomorrow.
Nice. I can't say the same, but I do get that base paint on the trolls, and I got the glue on the tree. Covered the whole tree with glue, but not too much, because that's the problem, is you use too much and then it takes away from the effect. And so
here, I'm gonna take a picture and put it up on our website real quick here.
But yeah, I'm done with painting for tonight. I think I'm getting close to heading out as usual. 10 o'clock seems to be our typical time.
Yeah, pretty much.
Is that your furnace going off?
What's that?
Is that your furnace going off?
You hear the blower?
Yeah.
That would be the fan on my laptop that's going on.
Oh, there you go. Okay. It's like you got a gerbil in there spinning it.
Yeah, I hear
kind of a high loud.
Kind of a high pitched sound going on. It's not quite in my wheelhouse because I'm partially deaf. So,
but that is a story for another day.
Let me see here. Go to. There we go. The Musty Wargamers.
Well, what you doing? You just posting stuff?
I'm going to post this and see if I can share it to the...
Okay. Well, this is probably about close to as good a time as any, I'm guessing, to call it. But as usual, a nice, enjoyable conversation with folks and getting some work done. I hope everyone has gotten some work done tonight, or just enjoyed chatting and chilling with us.
All right. The Ushapti Warriors, I just finished her up on the Musty Wargamers page. So if you want to look at them, they're there.
Awesome. Good deal.
All right. That will be it for the night. We got everything.
All right, everybody. Thanks for stopping by, as usual. It was fun. Thanks, Dan. Thanks, Brad. I'd just finished my musty drink as well. Thanks for everybody for coming down.
Thanks for coming down, everybody. We'll see you in a couple weeks. And good night, everyone.
Good night. See ya. Thanks, Bill.